Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David that is to come. Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia.
The Lord be with you.
With the Spirit.
Reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you.
The rulers sneered at Jesus and said, "He saved others, let him save himself. If he is the chosen one, the Christ of God." Even the soldiers cheered at him. As they approached to offer him wine, they called out, "If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself." Above him there was an inscription that read, "This is the King of the Jews." Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we received corresponds to our crimes. But this man has done nothing criminal." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." The Gospel of the Lord. Good morning, everyone. I have two themes running through my head, so hopefully you don't get two homilies, because we'll be here for a while. But the first one is about leadership itself. Obviously, we know that Jesus is the King of the universe, the solemnity we celebrate today. And appropriately, they chose that first reading from the Old Testament where King David is anointed king. And obviously, they did that to show the liturgical connection from David to Jesus. But when you think about leadership and how great David was himself, you know, he was quite loved by the people, very popular, and they loved that he was their king and their ruler. And David's rule lasted for about 40 years, some of it peaceful, some of it obviously very stressful, and even there were great wars. But think for a moment, what makes a great leader? And what goes with the position itself? It's easy for us as spectators, if you will, to look at it from a distance. We've had experiences in our own time, both of great and some not so great leaders. But let's think about, even in our own country, just the office of president. Think for a moment, if you were president, what would your day look like? How early would you be up in the morning? What is a typical day? How many meetings? How many people asking for favors? Pulling you in this direction, pulling you in that direction. And you pray, I would imagine, that it's only a typical day and not that you would have to make a decision about war. Sometimes, even like in our own bravado, right, we'll say, "Oh, we got to go fight." But imagine if you were the person that says, "Yes, we are going to war." Aren't you in some way responsible for all those souls? How heavy of a burden is that on a person? I can imagine what that must have been like for King David, especially at times when his own country, Israel, were fighting little civil wars, if you will, between the tribes. And he's trying to bring peace. And then he goes off to war. I'm sure that he sat there in prayer and thought about all of those souls that he just sent off marching. Because in the end, he's responsible for all of them. Because he has to answer to God, who anointed him in that position. And I thought about that during the week when I was reflecting on this, and I said, thank God I'm not president. Not because I would fail, but I don't know if I can handle the same responsibilities that King David did. And maybe that's why the Lord appoints certain people to do the job, for better or for worse. But I think what we have to do is put ourselves in their shoes. The second thing, and I hope that all leaders will look at Christ as an example. When you think about Christ as leader, what do you see? You see a man with unbelievable patience, especially in dealing with his subjects, right? If we say Jesus is our king, then that means we're his subjects. And we have to do as he says. It's a monarchy, I'm sorry, in the kingdom of heaven, or at least that's what it looks like. And Jesus shows this beautiful example of humility, first and foremost, because here he is as king of the universe. I hope this doesn't jog your brains too much at 8:15 in the morning. He's walking around having fellowship with people, and at the same time, has the whole universe in balance, if you will. He's controlling the entire universe as he's walking around having fellowship with people. And as he's doing this, he's listening to his subjects, healing them, spending time with them, not judging them, being patient. And I think all leaders should look to those virtues and let them be examples. The second theme is this. The church puts this feast here for a very particular reason, besides looking towards leadership and Jesus as king, but to remind us that it's almost Advent next week, and that Jesus will return. There are 3 returns of Christ. The first entrance was into this world when he's born on Christmas Day. His other return is when I die personally. I will have to go and meet Jesus and he will come to me to be judged. Hopefully he's very humble and patient then too. And finally, his last return will be as king of the universe. See, the first time he came, it was in a small manger. Just a few people were around. They offered him praise, but the world missed it, if you will. But when he comes next time, the world will not miss it. What does he say? They will see me coming from the east and the west, as you see the clouds in the sky and the sun in the sky. The reflection for us is, am I ready for those returns in my life? And the reason why we ask that question is because in our preparation during Advent is also, will I be ready for the birth of Christ in my own heart? There are deep things to consider. That's why Advent is that penitential season, just like Lent, where we offer prayer and fasting to prepare us for that Christmas day, but also so that we are prepared every day. You never know, folks, when the Lord will call us home. It could be at any time or any day. Am I ready to meet the King of the universe? So as we go through the week and you begin your Advent preparations, this is like a pre-preparation, pray for those who are our leaders, that the Lord will bless them, that they will take good examples from our own King. And secondly, that we too will prepare ourselves for the most beautiful thing the world has ever seen, the entrance of its King into the world. God bless you.